Hello everybody, it's me Mr. Farina. I'm here to help you guys with some of your homework. So I know you're supposed to be doing the even numbers, and for those of you that forgot what even are, it's 2, oh wait, here we go, 2, 4, 6, 8, who do we appreciate? Alright, so all you're gonna do is fill in the circle, this little dark circle, with either less than, greater than, or equal to make a true statement. So on this first one, we have 7.6. Is that greater than or less than negative 8.5? Well, I know that since this is negative 8.5, that this number is going to be bigger no matter what. And always think of it as money. If I have $7.60, is that bigger than me owing somebody $8.50? I'm going to say yes, that's definitely bigger. Oh, it didn't come out the color I wanted it to. So that's my answer right here. All right, on this next one, I'll do number 4 for you guys. So we have negative 7 over 9 and negative 5 over 8. So remember, the bigger a negative number is, the smaller it actually is, right? Like negative 100 is actually smaller than negative 50 because it's like I owe somebody $100 instead of owing them $50. I'd rather owe someone $50 than $100. I'd actually rather not owe them any money. But so we're gonna have to figure out, and a way to do this is you can either go in and out and turn this into a decimal and turn this one into a decimal, or you can get your denominators to be the same. Because right now I can't compare these because there is no common denominator. So one way to get a common denominator, what I like to do is I just multiply the bottom by this number over here. So on my 9, I'm going to multiply. Let me see if I can make that font smaller because it's getting a little crazy. All right. So we're going to multiply by 8, okay? Because that's what this one is. And then I'm going to multiply this side by 9, which is what this denominator is, right? And then I'm going to have a common denominator. And remember, if I do it on the bottom, I have to do it to the top. So this is going to be times 8, and this one's going to be times 9. And now let's work all that out. Well, 7 times 8 equals, and you know what? Let me get rid of this guy because he's in our way. It's going to make it prettier if I can just work down here. So 7 times 8 is 56, right? And then 9 times 8 equals 72. Right? And I still have this right here. And then my little negative. And then on this side, we're going to have 5 times 9, which is 45. And then 8 times 9, which is 72. And let me see here. So now I can have a clearer picture, right? Because now I have my denominator, so now I can just see what's bigger, 45 or 56. Well, 56 is bigger, but it has a negative in front of it. So that means this is the number that's actually smaller because we're going to eat the other side, which means that this side is bigger. Oh, yeah, there. And that's my answer. All right, number 6. Now this is like saying, should I do this one? This one, just fill in your 0 here because you have to have the same amount of numbers. And then this is like negative $19.30, and this is like negative $19.03. So which one's bigger? Remember, if there's a decimal here, I can add as many zeros as I need to match it up, and it's easier to match up. You guys can do that one on your own. On this one right here, you're gonna have to go in and out and get rid of that and turn this into a decimal so I can compare my decimal here. So if I go in and out, 6 goes inside, 7 goes outside, right? And then I'm going to turn this into a division. How many times can 7 go into 0? I'm sorry, go into 6. 0 times, right? So I'm not even going to do the 0 minus up because I know it's just going to turn into add a decimal, add a 0, right? So I can go into 60. And then if I add a decimal there, I need to add my decimal and bring it right up or raise the roof. And the 7 goes into this how many times? How many times can 7 go into 60? Oh, I know 7 times 9 is 63. So that's too much. So it's going to be times 8. And let me see here. That is 56. And then I'm going to subtract. And I'm left with 4 add my 0, bring it down. So now I have 40. And 7 times 7 is 49. Too much. 7 times 6 is 42. Too much. 7 times 5 is 35. I can keep going. But you know what? I have enough data here to stop. That's what's kind of cool. Because like if you look, I could keep going until I get finish my decimal, but I'm at 0.85 right now, right? So I have negative 6.7 here. So I already have enough information to know which one is bigger. Right off the bat, this is 0.85, which is a lot smaller than 6.7, right? Since there's negatives in front of them. And I know I hate that there's so many negatives in here. Then I know that this negative is bigger than this negative, which means I don't want that one because that would make it this is like saying I owe 85 cents, and this is like saying I owe $6.70. So I would rather owe 85 cents. So that's why this one's bigger. My sign's going over here. All right, on number 10, this is an improper fraction. Trying to see, or this is a mixed number. And honestly, you don't even have to work this one out. Because you can look at, this isn't quite 13 yet, right? This is already telling, this is negative 13, it's the whole number. There's no decimal, there's no fraction. This is negative 12. So I know that this is less than this one. Except that since there's a negative, that means this is like I owe 13 bucks, this is like I owe $12 and some change, right? So I'd rather owe $12 and some change. So I don't even have to work it out because I already know my whole number is smaller than 13. So this is going to be my number here. So we'd rather eat the 12 because it is actually a smaller number. I'm sorry, actually a bigger number because this is like owing $13. This is like owing $12 and some extra change. Not quite 13 though, right? It's almost 13. So I don't even have to I don't have to convert it or anything. Now this one I do. I have to convert my fraction into a decimal and then see if it's bigger or smaller than 0.1. All right. That is the first, 6 questions or so. I worked out some of them. I didn't on others. I'm just trying to help you guys. So let me see what else we got here. One sec. All right. To continue, we're actually going to continue with, we have only 14 and 16 to do, right? So you guys can ignore these right here. And let's look at this one. What we said to do in class is to turn these fractions into decimals so it's easier to compare them. So I'll do the first one for you. We have 1/5, right? So I'm going to go in and out. 1 goes on the inside, and 5 goes on the outside. Oh, sorry for my extra marks here. Ignore these guys. So 1 goes on the inside, 5 goes on the outside. 5 goes into 1 0 times, right? But I know I'm going to add a decimal here because that's what we do. I'm going to add a decimal, add a 0. And then I can go in here 2 times. This becomes 10. And then I'm done, right? It's beautiful when there's no remainder because that means I'm done. So this over here, I had 1 1/5. I know I didn't put my 1 at first, but that's a 1 1/5. It's the same as saying 1.2, right? Instead of my 0, I fill it in with my whole number, which is 1. And I get 1.2. So that's my first one. Now I have to do 1/6 and do the same thing. I'm going to erase my work, but actually I'm going to erase some of it. I could probably still reuse some of this stuff, make it easy on myself. All right. So I have 1.2 for this one, right? That's what he turned into. And now let's do it for 1/6. So again, 1 goes on the inside, 6 goes on the outside. I know it goes in there 0 times. So I'm going to add a decimal and a 0 so I can make it a bigger number. I turn this, I can go in there 1 time. And this becomes 6. And actually, you know what? I've got to bring my decimal up to make sure I do that. And let me see here. I got left with 4. Gonna add a 0. Bring it down. This becomes 40. And you guys get the gist, right? 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 6 is 36. And this is usually enough information for me to gather because these are only going to 2 numbers, right? So I can usually stop here if I needed to. Let me see here. And actually, I'm going to see a pattern, right? I'm going to keep going. So this is actually a bar over my 6 because it's going to keep turning into. So now I have negative 1.16 with the bar over it. And then you can actually compare these decimals and see which ones are bigger and smaller. I'll leave that up to you guys. All right, that's my help for today. Bring your questions tomorrow if you guys are still confused. I know this could be tricky because there's a lot of steps on this one. That's it. That's how we do it.